This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we have 7 people here, 8 count me. Okay, so the first item, can we start? Are you ready, Ian? Let's call the meeting if that's possible. Okay. Is there some static? Is the static me or yes?
No, it's someone else. Can everyone mute themselves, please?
Finance, I know Jim.
So who's starting the meeting?
Hi, this is Clara, and I want to call the meeting to order. It's about 7 o'clock. Are we ready? Okay. The first item is we need to approve the minutes of June 2nd. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Abundantly transparent. So, to put on my
I have a motion.
litigator hat for a moment, is open gov good in some situations? Maybe. As a case.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. What? Okay, Carolina made a motion.
I forwarded the motion to approve the minutes, so we need a second somewhere.
And we need,
Teresa
okay.
has her face. Okay.
And Teresa second. And I do have one correction, and that is that it's Curtis Butler, not Curtis Roach, who was attending the meeting. Okay? I think Ann got that. Is that okay? All right.
Yeah.
The next item on the agenda is to discuss and vote on the Oxridge drainage easement. And I wonder, would Duke like to say a few words about this first?
I think we had Randy and one of our colleagues that were going to join to speak on that. Randy Giraldi has been spearheading that on approvals and stuff around drainage.
Okay, do you want to wait for
Randy,
him?
have you joined?
Pardon me?
I don't know if Randy has joined.
Okay, we can do another.
Yeah. Just have to get the name.
Okay.
Yeah, Randy and Will Walter from Benish, which is the contractor, plan on attending. So maybe Clara will wait for them to join.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ask for a motion to reorder the agenda so we can discuss the state reimbursement for the COVID expenses now while we're waiting
Well, guys,
for that.
this is Will Walter. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, you're here.
I can
Okay,
hear you guys.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
Oh, thank you, Will.
Let's go back to the.
Sorry, I'm actually driving. I had a prior commitment tonight, and I found out about this late in the afternoon. But I can explain what the drainage easement is. Essentially, the site is right on Mansfield Avenue, and as water flows down Mansfield Avenue, it flows into a catch basin right in the site drive, and then goes through piping through your site and mixes with the flow that is generated on your site, and then it all discharges to a wetlands on the very low end and western part of your site. So essentially, this drainage easement is, you need to get a traffic permit from an entity called OSTA, and before they give you this permit, they are requiring that you grant them a drainage easement, which basically gives them the right to send water from their road, from the right of way, through your site. And that's basically what's been happening for the last 50 years or so, or however long this school has been there. So what they're asking for is something that has already been occurring ever since the inception of the school. But basically, it just gives them the right to have their water go into the catch basin and go through your site. That's essentially what this drainage easement is doing.
Okay, and you said that it formalizes something that has been in practice for many years.
That's
Is
exactly
that right?
That's exactly right. Yep.
All right. Is there any discussion about this? Any questions? Liza?
Thanks.
Bye.
I don't know, can you hear me, Clara, everyone? I'm just wondering if this should be limited in scope. And I know there's a very finite possibility that the site's going to be used for something other than a school, or what I think the term of art is a major traffic generator. But I feel as though the way this is drafted, it gives the right to the state forever and with no limitations whatsoever to access the property. And it gives the town literally no way out if we did want to use this property for any other purpose going forward. So I do think maybe the scope should be limited to use as, a school or, a major traffic generator in order to give us options down the road. And I mean, it would be very far down the road, obviously, but we've seen a lot of changes in the last year. We've seen changes with major projects like the senior center, Highland Farms. I feel like it just might be a good idea to give us some flexibility.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, yep. So let me respond to that. So I understand where you're coming from. The thing with the Department of Transportation is there's several types of different rights that they can ask for. One is a drainage easement, which basically lets them run their pipe through a defined part of your property. This is not a drainage easement. This is basically a right to drain, which means that they have a right for their water to come onto your site. It doesn't mean they don't have any right to come onto your site and to do any construction or anything like that. So you can basically do whatever you want in the future. It just means whatever you do in the future, they still have a right to have their water run through your site. Now, that being said, the school project is basically, it's wanting to go out to bid actually tomorrow. And this cannot go out to bid until the Office of School Construction Grants gives them permission to do that. And they will not do that until they get their traffic permit. And CONDOT will not give the traffic permit until we give them this right of way, or this right to drain. Now, the right to drain is basically, we don't have the ability to modify the language. It's basically stock state language. So I understand what you're saying, but it is pretty urgent for this matter to get resolved. Otherwise, the project's going to be delayed if we don't get this traffic permit.
Anyone else want to comment? Okay. I just wanted to go back to see that the warning for the RTM says that it is an easement. Did you say that it is not an easement?
No, it's not an easement. It's a right to drain.
So
An easement is a defined area. It might be, let's say the pipe that runs from this catch basin through your property. An easement would be, the length of that pipe and 10 feet on either side of that pipe. The Department of Transportation has a right to come in and replace that pipe with no consideration for disrupting the operations, stuff like that. The right to drain, all that says is at the property line, they have a right to dump their water, or to allow the water generated from their right of way onto your site. So it's definitely different. It's preferable from the owner's standpoint to have a right to drain, which I was surprised I was surprised they didn't want an easement. They were just asking for a right to drain.
So wait, can I just add, I'm looking at the RTM warning right now, and it's the language used is drainage, issuing of a drainage easement. So is that correct, or do we need to correct it before we go to the RTM? Is that the correct language?
I believe it's a right to drain.
So we should we should correct that before we vote on it yes?
I don't know. Does it go back to the town council person who prepared this? I mean, did Public Works? I don't know whether Public Works addressed this yet or not. It seems like it would apply to any other committee who was looking at this.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very common thing. and usually it doesn't require council approval or approval by the attorneys, but this is a very common thing, and the DPW should absolutely be aware of this. The town staff are certainly aware of it. But as far as, is it officially a right to drain? I believe it is. I mean, I can email to Randy a copy of that draft document. I believe it's a right to drain.
Okay,
Is it possible? Is it possible that the language is because the easement to drain is a little bit more inclusive than the right to drain?
Yeah, an easement gives Condot more rights on your property, and this is not an easement in that sense.
Okay, so we have the wrong language, basically. Theoretically.
okay, so should we table this until we get the language situation worked out? I mean, as to whether people are going to need this quick, the RTM isn't going to need until Monday, so there's a difference, you know, starting with tomorrow, if we post.
Well, again, if we don't get this approved by the RTM on Monday, we can't go out to bid and the project's delayed. So
No, I think, we're not saying that it won't be voted on Monday. We just want to make sure there's the correct language is in there. So we want to make sure before we go before the RTM on Monday, we are presenting them with the correct language. That's what we're saying. It'll get voted on.
yeah, so I guess Jeremy Ginsburg, he has a draft of the plan. I'm not in my office, as you can obviously tell. He has a draft of that it's actually a 24 by 36 plan, and on the top it either says right to drain or easement on it. So he has that information.
It says easement to drain.
It says easement to drain on all the documents.
Okay, then it's just semantics then. When I'm thinking of easement, I'm thinking of a defined area that they have a right over 4,000 square feet of your property. They can come in and do anything. If it says easement to drain, that's just semantics. It basically means their water can pass from their street onto your property. That's really all that's all this means.
Okay, I'm just surprised nobody else has noticed this. Liza, did you want to comment?
I'm just wondering if our town council has reviewed it.
I don't know. I mean, I thought he reviewed all the stuff that came in our packet, but I don't know for sure. It sounds like people are a little.
The council has. I've had 3 or 4. It's Mr. Wolf, correct?
I thought
is it Attorney Wolf?
John Wayne Fox. I thought.
A fox. Yeah. Okay. I got my wrong predatory mammal. I'm sorry. Yeah. I've had 2 or 3 conversations as he was going through it. He called me several times just asking for clarification on some of the finer points. So he's absolutely aware of this.
Okay. What does the committee want to do?
I would like to make sure our town council has signed off on it. I'm not, that would make me feel comfortable.
Sorry,
how about
but sorry, when we say make him, so would we have another meeting before we have to vote then, if we're doing that?
Can we get an email, a phone call? I mean, we're
Now?
not.
I'll try an email, but I don't know if we're gonna get an answer. We could meet on Monday before the RTM. I mean, we could table this, we could come back to it on Monday, and before the RTM meeting, we could meet for 10 minutes and go over it. I think we could do that.
Could I make a suggestion? Could we vote on it and come back to, and then if for some reason our email told us we did something, the information was different, then we would come back to it.
I agree. I agree.
I don't want to.
I don't think there's anything wrong with this, with the content of this. I just don't think that any of us are in the right position to say whether or not we're going to bind forever the town to this without having, legal sign off on it. That's all I'm saying.
But there's going to be an RTM vote.
We're not binding the town today with this. We're just saying if this document is correct or it's been presented to us, we will present it and second it to the RTM on Monday. So I think we should vote and say, okay, are we okay? If the language is correct, are we okay to move forward? And I think that's the vote that we should take.
But we're voting whether to recommend, right?
Yes.
But I don't know if but should we recommend unless we know it's been reviewed?
Maybe
Why
you
don't we,
could,
why don't we recommend assuming it's been reviewed?
yeah, just get an email from the attorney, just confirming.
But our wording, we could recommend assuming this has been reviewed. And if it hasn't been reviewed, well, either they'll have reviewed it or clearly our recommendation will not apply. But I can't imagine that they're going to submit this to the RTM for a vote if it hasn't been reviewed.
Yeah,
I would
agree.
hope not. Yeah, I would hope not.
I also think,
Okay.
I think we can say, based on everything Will has told us, we could say obviously this is necessary to continue to allow the school project to continue as planned, but I think we can approve it conditionally. Our understanding is that this allows the state to have access to the catchment area for their water. It does not, our understanding is it does not allow unlimited access by the state onto the school property. If that is the case, then we support this. I think we can vote on it conditionally.
Okay, what do you think? Does anybody want to make a motion? Can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to vote on this now, pending
All right.
that there was a review of it.
I second.
Okay, so is this a conditional recommendation pending review, the confirmation of review by the attorney?
Yes,
Is that what is the motion?
that's the motion, yes.
Okay, all right. All those, and do you have the people? We have Lisa and was it Curtis?
Carolina. It was Carolina.
Carolina. And Teresa. Okay, and all those in favor? Everyone in favor?
Actually, Anne, can you see
there
everybody's hands?
Can you see this?
Yes, I can see the hand.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and is there anyone opposed? Is there anyone opposed? No, okay, is that correct? Is there anyone abstaining? Okay, then
No.
that is passed. Okay, then that passes. All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, the next item on the agenda is the reimbursement for COVID expenses. And I think that I said for expenses incurred by the Darien Public Schools, the warrant says it's for the town of Darien. So I just wanted to point that out. Is there, Duke, did you want to make any comments about this, or Dr. Adley?
Sure. I'll just, at a high level, Claire, I sent out some information. I hope that helps. So far, there are two reimbursements that the state has indicated so far. The first one is called an ESSER grant. Darien was awarded $130,611. It's pretty specific as to what the reimbursement expenditures can be for. Stuff like touchless hand sanitizer, charging stations, elementary cameras, and software. The second reimbursement is from the Corona Relief Fund, which Darien was awarded $337,497. That has to be spent specifically on cleaning facilities, PPE, and transportation. So the total of the grant is $482,240. I got an update from Rich. They have requested a drawdown of the ESSER funds last week from the state and are awaiting the Corona relief funds from the state. They have not opened the grant management system yet. They expect that to open within the next few weeks. We had a preliminary conversation with the Board of Finance. We're looking to get on their agenda at their next meeting to go over in more specifics all the expenses tied to the reopening. Right now, expenses stand at around $2,031,515. Less grants, $1,549,270. That is reported and has been put through the finance committee board. And as I said, we're looking to get on the agenda for the next finance meeting to review it in more detail.
Peter, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I have a question. I don't know if Duke was finished, but a couple questions. One is, does Dr. Lenrich believe that, you know, we have maximized the opportunity, and I saw there were the guidance for these allowable expenses, spreadsheet and all that, but are these numbers that you were expecting when you were submitting the request, or do you think we maximize all the opportunity to receive? That's one question. Second one is, when I look at the
Peter, we can't hear you. You're cutting in and out and breaking up.
okay, yeah, sorry, is it still bad?
It's a little better.
Okay, yeah, let me repeat it. I was just saying, do we believe that we have maximized the opportunity to receive grants? When you were submitting requests for the grants, did you expect these numbers to come back at this level, or no?
Yes, we're pretty comfortable with maximum here, yes. And it's certainly, when you look at all the districts, and so on and so forth, we certainly have asked for our share, and pretty good what the ESSA grant has been dispersed, and the Corona grant has been dispersed, so yes.
Okay, thank you. And I have a second question, is more, I guess, technical. When I look at the resolution, we're allowing 128,000 and not 482 to be approved for this. I need to understand the discrepancy. Thank you.
I don't think I can see the resolution, so I don't have the resolution, to be honest with you, I don't think.
Okay. All right. Well,
Well, I'm not sure what you're voting on or what resolution there is.
Yeah.
This continues to be a work in progress, and as I said, we are not under finance to request any funds. We're simply giving everyone information as to where we are with expenses and where we are with grants.
Can I just chime in, Peter? We're, as the RTM, we're doing everything town and education, but in our meeting, we're only talking about the education portion, which might explain the discrepancy that you see on your RTM warning.
And the amount that we're voting on is $40,282. That's what's on the warrant. It's only that amount of money, I believe, even though Duke explained a whole process for going forward for how reimbursements will be done. I believe the warning from the RTM says that we're involved with $40,282. Is that everyone's understanding? Is everybody muted?
yeah, maybe I'm reading it wrong. It's 40,000. There's another one for 128,000. There are two warnings. Maybe that's a different grant, but I think it's the same or similar grant.
Yes. I think you're right. Yeah, I think, as Teresa said, the one that we're supposed to be making a recommendation on is 20-25. Okay, and in the explanation, the amount of money there appears to be $40,282. Can someone else confirm that? Is that what you see?
Yes, that's what I see. I see it as well. Sorry, I see the headline here. It's secondary education. Yep.
Okay. I had one question for Duke. On one of the memos that we received relating to the division between personnel expenses and non-personnel expenses, I wondered why this is the one that is from the guidance memo, guidance on allowable expenses. Computers were not listed on the academic. I didn't see a reference to computers, and I wondered if that is an expense that we would be reimbursed on.
Could you repeat that again?
Okay, in looking at the memo, Coronavirus Relief Fund, guidance on allowable expenses, it seems to be divided into personnel expenses and non-personnel expenses. And I wondered whether computers shouldn't be on there as academic related expenses. Maybe I'm missing it.
I just don't have that one in front of me. I've got the Excel spread of the expenses in front of me.
I'm sorry?
The technology primarily, the tech that we bought primarily from grants or just like expand, whether it was from or the Board of Education sort of money, that they were more document cameras, chart stations, road covers, the bills already from last year's budget and from books essentially. I'm not sure about it. To be honest with you, what you have in front of me is like an estimate. And just as an operational thing, it may be useful for you to know that basically we got 505 babies and running number 5 for close to 2 million. The 1.5 million is basically that work with education would essentially run over some line items, and we would either do one or get an appropriation later in the year, or transfer as the year progresses, and we realize that the categories will be a combination of that 5 that is sort of unexpected for the state. So do transfers, or we have to go back to appropriation later in the year.
So Clara, just to clarify, the ESSER grant, the reimbursed expenditures are for sanitizer stations, charging stations for elementary devices, document cameras, which we've done, and software like Screencast, Book Reader, or Seesaw, which we've done also, but not specific to computers, books, or iPads. They were purchased through the normal budget process. I hope that helps.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions about this? Are you ready to vote? I can't see everybody's hand, so are you ready to vote?
Ready.
Yes.
Okay, can we have a motion that the RTM authorize the submission of an application for funds to provide the town with reimbursement for COVID expenses in the amount of $40,282?
I would like that motion.
Okay.
Second.
And second? Okay, by Carolina. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is everybody's hand
Yep, everybody hand is up.
visible? Okay, and is there anyone opposed?
No,
Did someone say yes?
no, no one's opposed.
Okay, if you voted, no one, okay, and is there an abstention? Any abstentions?
No
Okay, then it appears that passed unanimously. No abstentions? Okay. All right, the next thing on the agenda was to have discussion of the opening of the school year. I guess when I put that on the agenda, I wasn't aware that we would, in the situation we're in. Does anybody want to discuss the opening of the school year? Maybe does Dr. Adler want to make some comments, and then we can ask questions?
Yeah, sure. I'll be brief, and then probably just as easy for you to ask questions. So we opened in the remote or sorry, pardon me, we opened in the hybrid model. There's 3 models in remote, where everybody's like the hybrid, where some students are in for a couple of days and some students are out for a couple of days. And then there's also the in-person where everybody's in school. So essentially, we open in the hybrid model where our students are in basically 2 days a week, out 2 days a week, and then for a half day. So there's much discussion about that. The findings would suggest that the number of new COVID cases, as we have monitored them every week, that you could go all in the school, and we could have started like that. I did not make that recommendation to start like that based on this ability to transition in a thoughtful, reasonable way to guide our practices and let the children get accustomed to new protocols and new environments, to let that get comfortable with the safety procedures and processes that are in place. It also allows us to actually test out the system a little bit, particularly if we have to go all remote, because we could, this thing is so fluid that we could be in today and fully out tomorrow. The plan is, and this has been, to do the hybrid till the 29th, and on the 29th, schools will be open in a full in-person model. Now, I'll just be honest, there are people all sorts of dispositions about this, whether it's right thing to do. We should have done this model or that model. I appreciate that. But a recommendation to move forward with what I believe was the best interest of everyone. And also, any decision I make about opening school also have to be run by essentially our medical advisor and also the state, or sorry, the district health director and also the state department of education. So that decision was approved by them. Or they actually don't have to approve the state, but we have to. I at least have to consult with them. Look, I honestly believe it's the right thing to do. To transition, we have lessons learned along the way. I believe middle school and high school from day one, relatively speaking, have been seamless for the most part. The K-5 program, on the first year I tried, I actually had to write the Friday night before it started, and share with them for next week. We'll have to modify it, and this is one of the bumps in the road, one perhaps local experience along the way. And we just had to for a few days to get some other experiences, which I would recognize were not the same as remote in the classroom, because when students are being hybrid, and when they're remote, they will be tuning into the classroom remotely through a camera. So that's, I'll stop there for a moment. But basically, we're in a hybrid model. We're coming back and everything plays out okay. 29th. Full. And again, you probably have questions that we've got the car, you can probably ask questions that we go on. So that's just a big picture.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, thank you, Dr. Adley. Now we're going to have more questions, I think. I think Teresa had a question.
I just have a quick question. It's terrible of me. I'm like scrolling through my news feed as we're in this meeting. So heard it here first, everybody. So Wilton is having a Board of Education meeting as we speak, and their medical director in town is making them push full in-person back a week because of rising cases. How often are you speaking with our health director? And, you know, I know as of today you haven't heard anything, but I'm wondering, you know, how often you speak.
Right, so we're in contact our liaison officer, our director, our nursing director, talk practically every day to those. I talk at least once a week to both of them. So we're in close contact. our director of health will build in this 3 of the bills this week. So we're on a very basis. The coaches and the metrics come out every week, and that they are positive. They are so that's encouraging. That's right. But we're in a regular. I'm dealing with my nurse and I'm following contact this week.
Okay. Do you have more questions, Teresa? Any more questions? Does anyone else have a question for Dr. Adley? Hey, Peter, do you have a question?
Yes, I do, and I apologize if
Can you hear me?
Yes, I don't know if the connection is bad on my side or not, but if you can hear me, I just wanted to make sure I heard it right. Dr. Adler, as of today, you still hope that we're going to go full in-person learning on the 29th, correct? I just want to make sure I heard it right. Thank you.
If I'm hearing right, Peter, the district is scheduled to come back in person full on the 29th, yes.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Really? Is there somebody I can't see who has a question?
Nope, nobody's got their hand up.
Okay, so is it possible that we're finished? Is there any business?
I just actually have a comment, not a question. Dr. Adley, I think everyone here has incredible empathy and is really aware of how difficult your job happens to be right now. Just managing this, as you said, fluid situation where you have so many competing interests with very different objectives and very different ideas about how this should play out. I don't envy you that position, and I appreciate all the hard work that you're putting in as a member of the RTM, but also as a father of 2 daughters in the school system. So thank you for all your hard work. You too, Duke.
Well said.
Thank you, Curtis.
Yeah.
Thank you to the members of the RTM. Whether you agree with me or whether you don't, but I appreciate the levels of support and the council, and even if you don't agree with me on the way, but thank you for that very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Certainly, we've been thinking about you. If we could clap, I guess we would do that. But thank you for all the hard work. And sorry about the meeting the other night, but thanks again. So should we take a motion to adjourn?
Sure.
Okay, it's 7:40. I thank you all. We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And
Teresa and I will do that.
Teresa
Okay.
and Karen. All right,
Thank you,
good. Thanks again. Have a safe.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.